I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or skins, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skins uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Doesn't matter if you were an Indian or if you're a Warhawk.
The ULM mention is the greatest. You'd hope for the best as a ULM fan, but
this is the Bleav in the Warhawks podcast with hosts Dusty Thibodeaux and Chase Regent.
Chase, you always have such great insight.
Tibbs is going to bleep it all.
What are these guys always talking about?
We talk a lot about food on this podcast, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Really, really appreciative of the people and the community and the way that they've backed us up.
Nailed the introduction, by the way. Awesome.
Thanks,
Love
Fish.
it.
No Chase for this episode, so I have to fly solo, talking a little round ball with the men's basketball head coach, Phil Cunningham. Coach, it's been a little while since we caught up on things.
Yeah, a lot of other things going on around campus.
Your program, the men's basketball, is definitely the epitome or maybe the indicator of everything that's been going on at ULM. It's new. Starting off at the top, obviously you have a new president. What's been your interactions there with Dr. Castile as she comes on board on the Bayou to try to lead us into a new direction?
Well, Dusty, the first thing that jumps out about Dr. Castile is her energy. I mean, I've just watched her from afar and how energetic she is, and she believes now. You can. Your podcast is Bleav in the Warhawks. She believes, and that's half the battle. And so I've watched her from afar, but I've gotten to know her a little bit better. I ran in a 5K or about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think the physical therapy school put it on, and she ran in it also. So I got to spend some time. Met her husband for the first time. Got to spend some time with her, and their little individual time that I hadn't had with her, and was just again very impressed with her knowledge. And with her energy, but again, her just her enthusiasm and her belief really stand out to me. And as a coach, she's like a coach. She's got a lot of athletics in her, in the way she sells things, in the way she doesn't take no for an answer. I mean, she's you can tell she's a grinder. We talked about sleeping habits. She doesn't. I said, when do you sleep? She said, don't sleep much. And I said, well, I kind of know that. I know that feeling, but yeah, she's. I think she's exactly what the university needed at this time.
Did she already lay out the plan for you? Did she already lay the expectations? Coach, you got to win this number of games.
She didn't do it specifically, but you can tell she wants to win. I don't think she wants to. I watched her in that 5K. She wants to win. She's competitive. I saw that in her out there at that race that day. But she's coming to speak to our team. She's spoken to a lot of the teams already. She's coming to speak to our team next week. So I'm excited about hearing from her on a different level next week.
He's your peer / boss. You also have a new athletic director there, and Brian Vincent. What's it been like with that whirlwind of everything happening, of Hartwell leaving, football kicking off, and Brian Vincent kind of being the new man leading athletics?
Well, it's been a whirlwind, but I think things have calmed down now, and and I think Coach Vincent has done a tremendous job to this point in his role. I mean, he's got a lot on his plate, but just listening to him talk, we've met as coaches, as a coaching staff, we've met a couple of times, and we meet again tomorrow. But he's a coach. He's first and foremost, he's a coach, and I've never worked for an athletic director who was also a coach, and so it's interesting to hear, the way he sees things and the way he expresses himself in meetings is different because he sees things like we do. When I say we, the other coaches, and that's good. I've enjoyed it. I come out of those meetings excited, and he has that same type of attitude that you hear and see all the time with him coaching his football team. He approaches the athletic department the same way, and I don't think there's anything fake about it because he's one of those guys now. He's an energy guy. He's an enthusiasm guy. He's always selling like a typical coach, like a good coach does. And I believe it. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I think I'm pretty good at picking out when somebody's genuine or not. And he's all in, and he's for us all. He's not just for himself. He's all in. And he's been the situation he got thrust into. We all got surprised, and he did too, just like us all, like the rest of us. But for the position that he's been, thrust into, I think he's done a tremendous job in kind of rallying the troops and getting us all to believe and fighting for us on some things. So I've been very pleased with what he's done in his new role.
One of the big things, facilities of Fayette Ewing, obviously. I know that there was always talk about there possibly being a video board installed. Will that be coming to Fayette Ewing this year?
Well, I've got mixed signals about that. I don't think so. I think there was talk about it early on. I think it's probably been put off, and obviously that's something we need. But our facilities are pretty good. I like our facilities. Our court looks tremendous. They keep the seats inside the Coliseum are spotless. They do a tremendous job of keeping things up from a day-to-day basis, from a cleaning and just keeping it as new as possible. So I have friends and family back in Kentucky who constantly tell me how the Coliseum and the floor itself look terrific on TV. And so I think I'm good with our facilities. I think we all have issues, but I don't think facilities are one of them. I like our locker room space. We've done some new things, and I think from a facility standpoint, we're in a good position now. Our next move is at some point we need that big screen, that big scoreboard with the video board. That's our next move. But we're willing to wait and do whatever needs to be done in the meantime. But I'm good with where we are facility-wise.
The other thing I have for you, obviously, the new branding has come out. What are the new threads going to look like this year for basketball?
Well, we're just in the process of putting that order in, and we didn't get too out of hand, but I love the new branding. Now, I mean, we kind of gave our players a vote on some stuff, on some things. We like to give them some ownership and let them see what we're considering, from a uniform standpoint, and they loved it all, and just again. The new logos they're allowing us to use, the players love them now. They love them, and I think we as coaches really like them, and I think the fans will like them a lot. So I think from a branding standpoint, there's been a forward move in the right direction. Has been done from a branding standpoint for sure.
Yeah, I'm still trying to let it grow. I mean, the new rallying cry of boom and zoom. I'm not there yet, but I keep trying it out to see if I really like it and I can roll with it.
That's new. Had you not posted that on social media, I think I missed that one. So you're doing a good job of keeping everybody informed, including the coaches.
Hey, I do what I can there. But let's talk about players. You only returned 2, which in some cases you'd be like, man, that was a bad situation, but that's kind of the way college basketball is. But they're 2 good ones. You got Raynar coming back and Micah Castor. What are kind of their roles that you expect them to fill in for this upcoming season?
Well, Dusty, those guys, number one, they're talented. I like their talent level. We have a third also. We have HA2 coming back, who's an integral part of our program. Has had a great summer, and it's a big part of what we do on a daily basis local young man. But back to Raynars and Micah. Raynars is a guy who we never really saw the full extent of what he could have been last year because of his injury. He had that foot injury. He only played 10 games. He tried to come back in February and then had to sit out again. But he's a guy that he showed it in flashes last year. In his second college game at Tulane, he had 17. I think he had 4 threes against a good Tulane team. So he's a guy that can really stretch the floor. He can shoot it. He's athletic. He moves well. He's got incredible basketball IQ, typical European guy, knows how to play. And really, I think is going to take a big step for our team this year from a scoring standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. So I'm really excited about where Raynars is heading into the season. Mike is a guy who didn't get much of a chance last year. We had a lot of good older wings on the team last year that he just never really got a chance. But I saw some things at the end of the season down the stretch in him that I really liked. I mean, he did some things when he got an opportunity late in the season and late in some of those games where he showed a natural knack to score. Now, if you go back and look at his high school days, he was a tremendous player with a lot of accolades in high school. Scored a lot of points, won a lot of awards, and so he's a talented young man. Comes from a great family. He's got a great support system back home, and the reason how that applies to him, like he wants to be good now. He wants to be a really good player. He's got great leadership skills. He's shown that all summer and so far this fall. And he's kind of an in between. Is he a point guard? Is he a 2 guard? He's just a basketball player. He's just a guard. He can do a lot of different things really good. We need him to move a couple of those areas into the next step as a player. But he can score the ball. He's quick. He's athletic, and he's hungry. So I'm excited to see where he is. He has probably been throughout the summer and the fall. If you ask me, hey Phil, who's the player that surprised you more than anybody? I'd say Micah has been, in a really great, in a pleasant way.
That's always good to hear. Yeah, I mean, he's one of us. He was a 6A, 7A player of the year in Alabama. Followed him up from there, and yeah, he was a scoring machine. I was surprised that he was able to land on the Bayou. But Coach, you went international. You got guys that don't even have a full name; they just go by one name. And I think one of the bigger ones there is the guy from Poland, Hartman. What's he really bring to the table there for the Warhawks?
Well, Dusty, he's going by Hartman. That's his last name. His first name is Premislaw. We were going to call him Premi. Then he said, Coach, I just want to go by Hartman. So he's going by Hartman. But he's probably, from a recruiting standpoint, he's a guy that people in Europe know about him. After we finally released it, we held it off all summer. But when we finally released our roster, I had guys from Europe, texting me and saying, "Hey, that Hartman's a player now. He's a player." And so here's kind of where we are, Dusty, with all these European guys. And Hartman's a great example. We're rolling dice on, can we take a talented young man like Hartman and can we get him ready to help us win in the Sun Belt in year one? And that's kind of where we are in roster building. As a head coach, I'm the general manager also, and I saw early on as soon as we took over that and this isn't abnormal, regardless of I know we're in a new era of recruiting with revenue sharing and the house settlement and everything that came with that with NIL. So I know that's all new, but historically the hardest position to get has been big guys. And particularly at our level. Now, what's happened with these roster limits, the Power 5 people, they're feeling their basketball went from 13 to 15. So they're filling their roster with 14 and 15. They're getting big guys. So it's really been thinned out. So I saw pretty early on, I said, we're going to have to go to Europe to get some big guys. And Hartman was the guy that jumped off. Once we got involved with him, I've recruited 2 young men from Poland. They're not young anymore, but when I was at Mississippi State, I had 2 from Poland. They were terrific players, even better people. They speak really good English over there, so you don't have that. You don't have that hurdle to overcome. But Hartman he's 6'9", he's 210, 215. He's got big, strong legs. His upper body will develop. He's athletic. He like all the European guys. They'll have to make the adjustment to the quickness that you see in American college basketball. That's going to be his biggest adjustment. He can really shoot the ball, but he's a stretch guy. He's skilled. the question is, how quickly can we get him ready to contribute and to what level can he contribute? He can play right now. Now, at what level can he help us right now? Unfortunately, we're the time's ticking fast. Now we're 2 months away from playing. Where can we get him in the next 6 weeks? That'll be say a lot of how good a team we have. Where can we get he and these other the new international guys? How quickly can we get them ready to play?
The next one, a good Russian guy, Alex Bleav. Did I say it right? Am I getting my Russian down?
You're right. We've got two Alexes, so we call him. If you look on Alex Bleav's social media, he goes by his nickname is Santos. So we were trying to figure out who we're going to call Alex, how we're going to handle this, and we looked on social media, and his nickname was Santos. So we said, "You are now Santos." It's like remembering the Animal House at the beginning of Animal House when they're giving up names. We gave
his name.
Yeah. So we said, "You are now Santos," and he said, ironically, he said they had done that to him on a team in Russia one time. One of the coaches said, "Well, you're going by Santos," so he's going by Santos, but he is 6'5". He's a legit 6'5". He's a big, strong body. In Russia, he played the point all last year. Really knows how to play, a really good passer. But we don't want him to play the point over here. First of all, we've got Christian Lewis as a point guard and a couple other guys. But over here, the quickness, you can't. It's hard to come from Europe, and particularly when you're 6'5", and be a point guard against this American quickness. So we'll play him off the ball. He'll play the 2, he'll play the 3, could even play some 4. But just a strong, athletic, decent, good athlete. Not in kind of playing condition yet, but really knows how to play. Can really pass the ball, can score the ball. Has what I call has a moxie about him. That he's competitive. He sees things before they happen. He's much like Hartman. How quickly can we get him ready? Physically, he and Hartman both, they have their bodies are ready. They're ready to play. Hartman's got to get a little more physical, a little stronger upper body, but they're fine. If you look at their height and their strength level, they're good. It's just how quickly can we get them ready to play American college basketball to the point that it helps us win games.
Finally, the Spaniard, Huguet.
He goes by Hughie. We call it. He's another Alex, but we've given him the nickname. He said, "Call me Hughie." He's an interesting guy. He's about 6'7". He's really skilled. 3-on-3 has emerged as a really big sport in basketball. Olympics, have 3-on-3 in Olympics, but now they play it in all the youth divisions. Well, Hughie is he's recognized as in his age group the best 3-on-3 player in Spain. So what that tells you, he knows how to play. He's skilled. He's got good length, and he was on a good thing about him. He's a 19-year-old, but he was on the under 20. The under 20 had a European competition in August or late July rather. So the month of June, he was with the under 20 team. He was the only 19-year-old there. He was the last cut. They take 12. He was number 13, but he spent about almost a month playing with the national team. That was really, really a great experience for him. But he's 6'7". He's really skilled. He can shoot the ball. He's the guy that's got to get physically stronger. If you asked him today, I was asking him a couple of days ago, I said, "What's the biggest difference in, so far that you've noticed?" And I know already, but I want to see what he says. And he says, "Oh, coach, it's just much more physical over here." So I got to get stronger. I just say, exactly. I said, "You got to get stronger." He much like the other two guys, just have to get used to the American quickness. It's interesting when I look at those three and I look where Ray Nars was a year ago. I mean, that year experience really makes a difference. And we have to, as a coaching staff, without burning them out physically, we have to, in the next 6 weeks, we have to do everything in our power to get those guys ready to play without, like I say, without taking their wheels from them. But we have to push the envelope. We have to speed up the process and get those guys ready to play, because we've got 5 or 6 guys ready to play right now. We could play a game tomorrow night with those 5 or 6 guys. The key is who's going to be 7, 8, 9, and can those European guys who are really talented and are going to be really good college players down the line, can we speed up this process where they're ready to play, when we go to Northern Illinois in November?
Got to ask about the 2 guards. We had them on the show a while back there. Kristen Lewis, Wiggy Ball. How's the one guards looking?
I love Christian Lewis as a point guard. I think he has a chance. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I think he has a chance to be one of the better point guards in the Sun Belt. He's physically, he's strong for a point guard, not the quickest guy in the world, but really skilled. And he has a unique combination of skill and strength, and he can really shoot the ball. So I'm just really excited about him. He's you hear the term, coaches say it all the time about gym rat. I mean, he's the true definition of a gym rat. He could bring a pillow up there and sleep. He's in there all the time. I remember when we were recruiting him, and Derek Zimmerman signed him, and they went to the same high school there here at Washington High in Monroe. And I remember Z telling me, we call him Z. I remember him telling me, like, I constantly have to tell this guy, talking about Christian, I constantly have to tell him, take some time off. And at the time, I'm hearing him say that. I'm saying, okay, it'd be interesting to see what he's all about. And now that I've been around him since June, I know what Z was talking about. He's in the gym all the time, to the point of, like, okay, you got to back off a little bit. But that tells you how much he loves it. And just really excited about where he is. I think his future's bright, but he's ready to go right now. He's ready to play. He played for a really good junior college coach last year who really pushes them out of their comfort zone. So he's been pushed hard by Chris Oney over at Pearl River, and played for Casey Jones, who was a tremendous guard at ULM during Coach Vining's tenure. So he's been coached. He's been pushed. He knows what it's all about. Won a state championship at Wasserman. He's ready to go. The other guy you talked about, Wiggy Ball, he's fighting for that backup role. Wiggy's going to be a really good player, and he's under a lot of stress right now every day in practice, because when you're playing that point guard position, you have a lot of responsibility, and he's trying to figure out. I'm a college freshman going to classes. I'm away from home for the first time. These coaches are pushing me. They're all over me about making sure that everybody else is set. Because when you're the quarterback, you're the point guard. You're the quarterback. You're the coach on the floor. So not only are you responsible for you're responsible for everybody else. So we put a lot of pressure on the point guard. So Wiggy's got a lot of things flying at him right now. He's handled it well. His dad's a basketball coach, so he's lived it, breathed it his whole life. He'll be good. With him again, where is he going to be in November? I know where he's going to be in January and February. He'll be ready to go then. Can we get him ready when we go on the road, all these games in November, December? Can we get him ready to help us, be competitive against some of these games and win some of these games? Can he help us get there? And we have Micah Castro, who can slide down and play the point as well. So there's some competition going on there with those two. But I feel really good about where we are, particularly with Christian, where he is and leading this team at the point. And that's a position that I feel every day I feel pretty good about.
You got to feel like a drill instructor. And this is the Army, where you're getting these new recruits, these freshmen coming in. You got to break them down to build them right back up how you want them.
That's it. We've got to do that. We've got to be positive and build, like you say, the build them back up part of it. But we've got to get advancing, because we told them the other day, like Monday, for example, we said 2 months from tonight we play at Northern Illinois, and we said we've got 5 or 6 guys who can play right now just because they're older and more experienced. They've been through it, and I said, the key is we've got to get you other guys ready. And I've said coaches, I've said it myself as a head coach. I've heard other coaches, I've worked for in the past say it, and you hear it all the time in coaching, just at any sport. It's our job to get them ready, but Dusty, it's their job to catch up too. It's their job as players. You have to really turn it up. You have to be locked in every day, and you've got to do your part in getting yourself ready to play too.
All the excitement, Coach. I'm ready to suit up, but unfortunately, there's a guy that will not be suiting up for you, and it's a big hit when we found out that Bente Knoll, your big 6'10" center out of Southern, suffered an injury here in camp and will not be with the team this season.
Yeah, Bente, he played the first 2 years at Southern Baton Rouge, 6'10", 220. The way I describe him, he has a look like Bruce Pearl at Auburn right now. His bigs are all long and athletic. They can run and jump. He has that look. So we were so excited about him coming into this season. He had some growth. He had some growth he needed as a player and mentally, but we were going to help him get there. But he did some things. He does some things rather that you can't teach. You can't teach 6'10", 220. He's competitive. He's got that dog mentality in him. You can't teach those things, and you can't teach the way he runs and jumps. So he had a season-ending injury, and that's part of athletics. It happens. It's devastating to him because he's a tremendous teammate. So he's so disappointed he doesn't get to play with these guys this year. But we've got to help him through it. We've got to help him to prepare for the surgery, and then post-surgery, we've got to help him through this process. And what we've told him, and it's hard for him to see the light right now, but I've seen this so many times. ACL, knee injuries are so common now that I've seen guys. I can't remember one not coming back. I was watching you. I'm sure you were watching JMU in Louisville Friday night on TV. And they were talking about the quarterback who got hurt in the final game of the season for JMU, and he came back. They said it's one of the quickest recoveries they've ever seen. Well, that's what Brente's got to do. He's got to lock in his rehab, but he will grow so much in the next 4 months of this through practice and the season, because Dusty, he'll see things through a different lens. All he's ever seen is through a player's lens where he's worried about himself. That's just human nature to be worried about yourself. Well, now he's going to see things from a different lens. He's going to see it from a coach's lens. He's going to see it from a fan's lens. He's going to see it from a guy on the bench who's not playing. He's going to see things so differently. And I've seen guys in his position grow so much. He'll bounce back physically. They'll get him back right. Technology is so tremendous now. They'll get him back to 100%. He's got to do his part, but they'll get him there. But he's got to grow this year and come back stronger than ever next year. But I'm a realist too now. It affects this team. We just lost what I thought was going to be. I thought Brente had a chance to be a top 3 center in the league. Because this, if you look at the centers coming back, there's only a couple, 2 or 3 of them coming back that you even have a body of work to look at. So it's kind of a guesswork. Who do you have coming in to play the center? And I know what I've seen what he is and what he's capable of being. And I have a hard time believing that there's 3 or 4 centers in this league better than him. We don't have him, so we have to. It's one of our mantras. We have to figure it out. We have to figure what's next. How do we make this thing work? Nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we've got to figure out, and we've got time to do it. But that's what we're doing right now, trying to figure that out.
Got to go hit up Vincent and see what he has left over for football and be like, who's your biggest guy, Coach?
I keep hearing about our wide receiver from Alabama that played on the state championship basketball team. So, we probably need to stay away from him right now. We need a guy about 6'8", 6'9" is what we need. And there's time to go out. We have we certainly can add at the semester break. We can add a player, and we just have to make sure it's the right fit from a chemistry standpoint, from a playing standpoint. We just don't want to add somebody to be adding somebody. We need to make sure that they're who we need to add and they're the right person. It's never rocket. It's not rocket science, but it's never 2020 either. You got to roll the dice in this situation a little bit. We just have to do our due diligence and try to find that right guy. If he's out there, we need to find him and add him to the team.
Stack schedule. Like you said, open up with the MAC challenge there at Northern Illinois, then road trips to Ole Miss, Stephen F. Austin, Miami, as in the U, not Miami of Ohio, K-State, Houston Christian, and then you get Lamar at home. Coach, were you feeling okay when you made that schedule out? Well,
unfortunately, several of those games you mentioned were built in. We started, when you play the games that you referenced, the Ole Miss, the Miami, the Kansas State games, those are the games that you go play like football did Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Those are the money games. The other ones you're talking about, Stephen F. Austin, Houston Christian, we've got those are what we call return games. When you play teams like that, they're 2-year series. So we've got to return those games to those places. And Lamar comes to us in November. And all I can tell you, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been the scheduler as an assistant coach. I do scheduling as a head coach. I can tell you when 2 coaches are talking at the same level and you've agreed to do a home and home, the next challenge is who's going to go on the road first. Nobody wants to go on the road first. Well, when Lamar told us they were willing to go on the road first and start that series here, and then we return the game the following year, that told me one thing. Alvin Brooks has been doing this a long time. He knows he's got a good team, Dusty. And if you look at all the preseason publications, Lamar is going to be a top 2 or 3 team in the Southland. And the Southland's been a really strong basketball league led by McNeese lately. And so Lamar, they've got a veteran team in a day and age when everybody leaves and you're rebuilding your roster. They've got several players back. And again, for him to agree to come here first, that tells you all you need to know about them. So our schedule is a challenge, but you know, the opposite side of that is that it's exciting. I think when our players, you know, there's nothing better than going on the road and trying to win on the road. It'll juice our guys up. It makes us as coaches, it makes us really have to be laser focused on preparation. Like we'll start preparing here in the next 2 weeks to try to get ahead, and just knowing our opponents and what to expect. But it's certainly a challenging non-conference schedule.
Is there maybe a little bit more emphasis out of that first game there, Northern Illinois, with it being your first game helm in the program, but then also that MAC Sunbelt Challenge kind of came about to really help the net ratings? Is it kind of a little bit of pressure of, hey, we got to do our part and get that win?
Well, I haven't looked at that way yet. I mean, I know in our spring meetings down in Destin, they talk about that some, and I think it's the commissioner. I think that's kind of been his that MAC challenge was something he came up with and really pushed hard. And from our standpoint, it's our season opening game, so we'll prepare. We're going to try to win the game. I mean, we're not worried about the Sunbelt Challenge. That'll kind of work itself out. We want to do everything in our power to be ready to win that game and go on the road and have it's an opportunity for us to really start our season off with a bang. They've got a good team coming back. We've studied them a little bit already, and it'll be they're a really tough physical team, which for us, you know, that's one of the areas that we have to show growth, and then, like we've been talking about in the next 6 weeks, particularly with our young guy. So it'll be a fun way to start. We're gonna fly into old Midway Airport in Chicago, and then bus up there and go at it on a Monday night.
You mentioned buses, Coach. I got to hear as we close out, what are you doing on the bus when you are busing, say, to Texas State or to South Alabama? What's going through your mind, and what are you doing on the bus?
Well, I'm a video freak. I mean, I'm gonna be watching video the entire time. Like my mind it's just I'm wired that way. My mind is so locked in on the team and what we're doing. I don't. It's hard for me to do anything else. And then after a game, it's where it really gets in. I can't sleep after a game. You know, when I look on a bus and when I see a coach that can sleep on the bus after a game, you know, good for him. I can't do it. You know, the players, they're going to get on those phones and then they're going to be knocked out. But as a coach, I can't sleep. I can't. I really. I think I'm not different than most coaches. Most coaches can't sleep. That night of a game, it's almost no sleep because you replay the game over and over. So what I like to do, Dusty, to answer your question, I like to utilize that time to watch video. You know, I think video is so important in team sports. And one thing I heard John Beilein say this one time. You know, the really successful coach at West Virginia and had a great run at Michigan, and then he went to the NBA, but just really known as a tactical coach. But I read in an article one time where he said he made the comment that the head coach should be basically the video coordinator. Now, he doesn't mean the head coach cuts up the video and downloads all the videos from opponents, but what he meant was that head coach has got to be studying that video because that's where you learn and that's where you grow. So when I say that from an opponent standpoint, I'm going to be studying that opponent. I'm going to really be self-scouting us to see where we are after a game, breaking that video down. And when we watch video as a team, you know, I want to be invested in that video. I don't want to just say, hey, Coach Zimmerman, you break it down. You show them what you want to show. That's fine to do that. But as a head coach, I want to be like John Beilein. I want to be in the middle of all of that. So to answer your question in a long form, I'm gonna be on that laptop almost the entire time.
Synergy's always your friend there, Coach.
That's right. Synergy, and it's Huddle. It's been called Sports Code, but that's our video editing system. We get the games from Synergy. Huddle has got something called Sports Code. It's a tremendous tool for breaking down video and slicing it together. You put notes on it to present to the team. So it's your best friend, no doubt.
Coach, close it out as always. What can fans do to start supporting this Warhawk team as we get ready for the 25-26 season?
Well, Dusty, we're getting ready to make a push for season tickets. We need to get out there. And one thing that I've got to do with Molly and in the ticket office, and I said we were going to do this, and it's about the time. We're not quite there because we're in the heart of football season. But if you're a local, if you're a fan or alumni locally, Monroe, West Monroe, anywhere within 30 minutes, an hour, if there's any kind of opportunity to speak, we need to be doing that. Once we get into, not right now, but once we get into October, we need to be 3, 4, 5 nights a week. We need to have, whether it's me, Coach Zimmerman, one of our other coaches, we need to have our staff out speaking any chance we get. I don't care if it's 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. I don't care if they let us speak for 5 minutes. We need to get out in the community and start selling this thing and giving our vision for what we want. We don't want to sit back. It's the old adage of, is it what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, we've got to get out there. We've got to get out there and sell it, and then we've got to, at the very least, they've got to hear where we're coming from and hear our plan and share our enthusiasm, and then to give them an opportunity to come. Now, once they start coming, it's our job on the court to get them to come back. But so if you know of anybody out there, if you're a fan listening to this podcast, or if you have friends in the local area, they have any kind of civic group, any kind of group that meets, that wants to hear from ULM basketball, let us know. Just reach out to us via emails or on the school, on the website, on the directory. They can direct message us on social media. Let us know. We'll come speak. If I can't come speak, we'll send Coach Zimmerman. If he can't speak, we'll get somebody out there to talk and to physically give them some flyers of how they can get some tickets. That's our next step for getting people involved.
Awesome stuff, Coach. Looking forward to it. Ready to see the team in action on the road there at Northern Illinois, and definitely know that we'll be watching.
Thanks, Dusty. Appreciate you as always. You do a tremendous job of pushing the brand for everybody, and I want you to know from a coach's perspective, it's appreciated because you work your tail off. You work like a coach. I see you. I see what you do out there. You work like a coach, and I know it's not your only job either. So you're like Dr. Castillo. You're probably not sleeping too much at night.
No, not at all. I crashed and burned last night. I think I was in bed by 6 or 6:30, and it was much needed.
There you go. Great seeing you.
Pacifico is a Mexican lager brewed to be discovered. It's like fresh tracks on a powder day. Like that uncharted trail a stone's throw away. Like the perfect wave on a sunny day. Pacifico. Find your own way. 21 plus. Drink responsibly. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.